Your zucchini blooms every morning and produces nothing. Flowers but no fruit, week after week, and the plant just keeps blooming like that is somehow helpful. I pulled fertilizer off the shelf the first time this happened. More water the week after. Then I started cutting leaves, convinced there was something hiding in the canopy. The plant did not need any of it. Every one of those moves was a response to the wrong diagnosis. In the next 30 seconds, you will know exactly what is stopping your zucchini from forming fruit. And that one thing explains exactly why your plant is full of flowers but not producing a single zucchini. Look at the base of any flower on your plant right now. A thin stem, nothing underneath. That is a male flower. It exists to produce pollen. It will never become a zucchini. A short, thick stem with a tiny swollen shape beneath the petals. That is a female flower. That swelling is the embryo of your fruit, sitting there before pollination even happens. That single difference is where I was misreading my own plant for the first 2 seasons I grew zucchini. You've been watching flowers open for 2, sometimes 3 weeks. The plant looks enormous, leaves the size of dinner plates, stems thick as a garden hose, and every morning, fresh flowers, lots of them. But when you look closely at every single one, they all sit on long, thin stems. Every flower on the plant is male. That is the moment most people reach for the fertilizer bag, or double the watering, or start cutting leaves. The instinct makes sense. Something looks wrong, so you treat the plant. But the plant is not what needs treating here. Zucchini produces both male and female flowers on the same plant, and male flowers almost always appear first. Nothing is wrong. This is just the normal pattern zucchini follows every season. Every June, I see the same comment under videos like this one. Someone convinced their zucchini is broken because it has thrown out a dozen flowers and not one has turned into anything. A week later, the same person is back, because now a female flower finally showed up and they are worried about that one too. The plant is not broken. It is doing exactly what zucchini plants do. What kept throwing me off was how long mine stayed in male-only mode, even when everything looked perfect. Soil tested fine. Sun was fine. The answer was not in the plant. Soil that stays constantly wet keeps pushing a zucchini into vegetative mode. More leaves, more male flowers, no commitment to fruit. Let the top inch dry slightly between waterings, just enough that it is no longer constantly wet. Female flowers often start appearing within days once the plant shifts out of that condition. Once female flowers finally open, you spot that tiny swelling at the base of the bloom and feel relief. 2 days later, the little fruit turns yellow. It shrivels, it drops. The reason has nothing to do with the soil or the plant's health. A female zucchini flower is open for one morning, not one day, one morning. The window runs roughly from sunrise until around 9 or 10 o'clock, depending on your temperatures. After that, the flower closes and will not reopen. Whatever pollen did not arrive in that window, the plant will never receive. When you see a beautiful open female flower at noon, it is easy to assume everything is fine. But that flower may have been waiting since 6 in the morning. If no bee came through during those early hours, the window is already gone. The flower looks open. It looks receptive. The biology has already moved on. Zucchini pollen is heavy and sticky. It does not travel on wind. It needs a bee to carry it from a male flower to a female flower during those exact morning hours when both are open at the same time. When bee traffic is low, that window closes empty. The plant detects no fertilization and cuts the fruit. What looks like plant failure is actually a precise response to accurate information. The plant did exactly what it was supposed to do. Early morning, while flowers are fully open, pick a fresh male flower. Strip the petals off. Press the exposed stamen gently against the center of the female flower. One male flower covers 2 or 3 females. Do it before 9. On mornings when bees are not working the flowers by 7, hand-pollinating takes under a minute and the fruit set holds. The same yellowing tip, the same dropped fruit, but a completely different cause, appears when temperatures stay in the low to mid-90s Fahrenheit for several days running. Pollen quality drops and fertilization becomes unreliable. The pollen looks normal. The flower looks normal. A bee can carry it perfectly, but the pollen was already compromised by heat before the bee arrived. It was damaged while still forming, hours before the bloom even opened. Zucchini pollen is alive from the moment it forms. It has to stay viable through the heat of the afternoon, through the night, and into the next morning when the flower finally opens. A stretch of 90-degree days does not just stress the plant you can see. It works on something invisible, inside buds that have not opened yet. And by the time the bloom is ready and a bee shows up and does everything correctly, the pollen it carries may have already stopped working. Hand-pollinating more carefully will not fix it. The pollen itself is the problem, not the delivery. A thick layer of straw mulch keeps soil temperatures several degrees cooler than bare ground. Deep watering in the early morning means the plant is fully hydrated before temperatures peak. Temporary shade cloth during the hottest afternoon hours can bring leaf temperature down enough to protect the pollen forming inside tomorrow's flowers. If the forecast is already showing a run of hot days, this is the week to get the mulch down and the shade cloth ready, not the day after the fruit drop tells you something went wrong. Most people who see that gray-tipped, collapsing fruit assume the pollination failed. They go back out the next morning with a male flower and try again. The fruit keeps dropping. What they are looking at is not a pollination problem. The yellowing starts at the tip, not the base. Then a gray coating appears on the softening skin. The fruit collapses inward rather than drying out. Gray fuzz on a collapsing tip means moisture and airflow, and pollinating your way through it will not change anything. Gray mold gets established where humid air sits against wet plant tissue overnight. Dense foliage with no airflow, water sitting on developing fruit, surfaces that never dry out before temperatures drop. Removing 3 or 4 lower leaves changes the airflow around developing fruit immediately. Watering at the base in the morning instead of overhead in the evening gives everything time to dry before the cool of the night sets in. No fuzz means look elsewhere. Fuzz means the fix is physical, not chemical. The last misread is hiding under the leaves right now, and it quietly cancels every correct move you have made. A zucchini the size of a baseball bat, maybe 2 of them. Inside that oversized fruit, seeds are maturing. Once that process starts, the plant shifts resources toward those seeds and new fruit formation slows. Female flowers may still open, but the plant is winding down its commitment to setting anything new. The plant still looks completely active, still flowering, still green, still growing. Nothing looks wrong from where you are standing. But the signal running through it is to stop investing in new fruit. That oversized zucchini is telling the plant the season's work is already done, and it will not change course until you remove it. Pulling it removes the signal. Within days, new female flowers get the resources that were going towards seed maturation. 6 to 8 inches is not a preference. It is the point before that shift begins. Pull it there, and the cycle resets. Leave it, and the plant quietly stops competing for your attention while the fruit you are waiting for never arrives. Every one of those fruit drops traces back to the same misread. The early yellow tip, the collapsed mold-covered stub, the plant that stopped setting despite flowering. In each case, something looked wrong. The plant got treated, and the actual problem went untouched. The 2-hour pollination window at 6 in the morning. The pollen that formed yesterday in 95-degree heat. The zucchini under the leaves you stopped checking 3 weeks ago. The fertilizer I pulled off the shelf that first season was not a bad instinct. It was the right instinct aimed at the wrong target. The plant did not need feeding. It needed a bee, or a hand pollination run before 9. Once you stop treating the plant and start reading what is happening inside it, the fruit follows. Check the flower at the base. If everything is male, ease off water and give it time. If females are dropping without setting fruit, get out before 9 tomorrow morning with a male flower in your hand. If the heat has been running high and nothing is sticking, protect the root zone and shade the plant at peak hours. If the tip is rotting with gray fuzz, open the canopy and move watering to morning. And reach under the leaves right now for anything that grew past the size of your hand. Once you know what you are looking at, None of this takes long to sort out. Count how many female flowers you find today and leave the number in the comments. That single count tells you exactly where your plant is in its cycle right now. If this helped you figure out what was going wrong out there, hit the like button so other gardeners can find it, and pass it along to a neighbor who has been staring at the same wall of flowers wondering where their zucchini went. Subscribe if you want more of this. Next up is cucumbers, and the flower problem there has its own twist.